Senators in Donald Trump's historic second impeachment trial have voted to go ahead with the case.
On this vote, the ayes are 56, the nays are 44.
The vote in favor followed arguments over the legality of the trial and came despite Trump's defense team having claimed it was unconstitutional. Now he's left the White House. Prosecuting House Democrats opened proceedings with a video montage of Trump's January 6th speech and the deadly rioting by some of his supporters.
And we fight. We fight like hell. And if you don't fight like hell, you're not going to have a country anymore.
Trump is accused of inciting insurrection. For one senator, recalling what happened on that day when he'd had to hide from the rioters with his daughter was an emotional experience.
And you know what she said? She said, "Dad, I don't want to come back to the Capitol." Of all the terrible, brutal things I saw and I heard on that day, and since then, that one hit me the hardest.
Trump's lawyers are insisting that he's not guilty of incitement of insurrection. They were just a figure of speech, and they refute Democrats' reasoning for the trial.
We are really here because the majority in the House of Representatives does not want to face Donald Trump as a political rival in the future. That's the real reason we're here.
The Senate trial is just getting started. The final outcome, however, is all but certain. A two-thirds majority is required to convict him, but an out-of-office Trump still has great influence in the Republican Party. Hermione G., Euronews.
Well, I think the Democrats are taking the long view. They feel that if they don't go ahead with this, if they don't try to ensure that Trump is accountable for inciting an insurrection, that this is going to be really, really problematic for democratic norms and for our democratic institutions. What one of the impeachment managers was arguing is that you don't want to encourage this January surprise, where an outgoing president can basically just do whatever they want to do because they know that no one is going to hold them to account. And the other issue is because what Donald Trump did was so egregious, there's concerns that the bar is really falling very low for what constitutes an impeachable offense. Now, in a practical matter, in theory, if the Senate did convict, then they would take another vote where if they just had a majority, they would be able to ban Donald Trump from running for office ever again. And Democrats see him as incredibly dangerous for all the reasons that I just mentioned and would hope to do so. Now, as you said, this is unlikely to happen. There's not going to be a conviction. But there are signs that a few Republicans might vote to convict.
Well, in the meantime, what's happening to the Republican Party? How much power and influence does Donald Trump still wield there?
I think he still has complete control over the Republican Party. That's not what some of the high important people in the Republican Party would like former Senate Majority Leader Mitch McConnell. I think he recognizes that while Trump is very popular, while he does get people to the polls, he's also very divisive. And in the end, Trump played a role in causing the Republicans to really lose. They lost the presidency, they lost the Senate, and they lost the House. And some of that is because of Trump. But he still controls things. And the wing of the party that was once considered a fringe, that was considered to be more extreme right, where you have people like Marjorie Taylor Greene of the House, who was associated with QAnon and crazy conspiracy theories. This wing really isn't the fringe anymore. This really is the dominant part of the party. And you really only have a handful of senators and House members who are not completely under Donald Trump's thumb.
How much impact will the impeachment trial, will this political process have on Joe Biden getting ahead with his first 100 days?
Well, I think that's one of the questions, and the Democrats are trying to ensure that this goes much faster than the previous impeachment trial, which lasted over 3 weeks. They want to wrap this up quickly. It will probably be wrapped up by this weekend, but they felt that what Trump did was just too egregious, that they couldn't let this go. At the same time, though, they're trying to keep their points very short and to the point. And that's what they did when they were arguing. The impeachment managers made it pretty clear the reasons why Trump should be impeached. They showed a very compelling video, but they don't want this to drag on. They know that Biden's almost $2 trillion COVID relief bill needs to get passed, and they need to move ahead with his agenda, because at the moment we're in the middle of a pandemic in the US. Things are really, really still very bad for people, and they need much needed relief to happen sooner versus later.